Welcome to Small Lux Music Psyche, where I'll be giving the conceptions that will be shaped to my true heart and where music, one of my favorite auditories to be with, will say how does the project land and where will it be settled, and the sounds completed to the anthemium. And in this world is how I engine my opinions and give out while after, where I can also see all of you people have your own too. So don't forget what's in your thoughts when hearing yourself on someone's discography. And I'm not the only one who's doing this too and exploring subjects like this. So you decide if you like it or not. Nobody's wrong with their own unique perspectives. So by kicking off the first episode. And in that particular episode, what I'll be introducing is I'm in search for one particular album for today, which will be revealed in further moments. So before I buckle up, I would like for you guys to please subscribe to the channel, knock the like button down, and comment on what other artists of their works should I have thoughts on next. Lux on standby. Alright guys, this is gonna be very interesting. This is my first LP review, and today we'll be talking about I believe the most popular Australian pop artist of all time, and it's Kylie Minogue, and I'm gonna discuss about her debut studio album, which is titled Kylie, which was released in 1988. And there's this question of how did I get directed to try on Kylie Minogue's work, and how I got introduced from her was around the time of last year. Genres such as dance pop, disco, house alerted us with artists placing around their recent projects up to the dance floor, with two that I won't spill my likeness to it, and two that were better yet can put on some more work and hope for greatness sometime around in the next 3 or less, or who knows when will their next projects will be. Kylie Minogue, Dua Lipa, Roisin, Murphy, and Lady Gaga held their full-length projects up high for us to grab in 2021 and 2020. And to start off with that new decade, I've indeed completed these four LPs that these women have gave us around that time, and that were appropriate to follow, since I thought that they might kick 2019 over and crown themselves to be better with release after release. And though once hearing Disco by Kylie, which was one of the first to try on, and knowing what her sound was like, I had to go all the way through her debut and the first one to introduce not only me but in the entire world of her voice. And to build a summary up of this LP, by Stock, Aitken, and Waterman producing everything on the album titled Kylie, released in 1988. The pop sound does a lot of glare onto Kylie's vocals. It's pretty fair when going side by side of production, nailing vocals and instruments were held equally. It didn't seem that one spoke louder than the other. The volume was like a 50-50. There was nothing that was gonna that there was no like primary form of that particular project that it was gonna raise up higher than the other, and rubbing those primary steps musically. The energy here was always taken lightly. It never grew anything dark out there. Listening to the self-titled debut, it just gave its bright personality that nowhere was near to doomed us or slip a mishap, breaking the target of youth, soft and innocent love viewed here. And from that energy, like just speaking from its keyboards that were so easygoing, as I've never realized how close I was diving into and finding and seeing this defying a genre of synth pop. And so that genre kind of let me know how that defined itself, thankfully. And because I don't really listen that much of synth pop, or couldn't really tell what was their like main components, or the forms of how synth pop existed. And and to touch on like its story and its writing and its lyrics behind it, how it began. Well, again, credit to also the producers that I've mentioned a few minutes ago with Stock, Aitken, and Waterman. The three guys had credit with writing all of its material of this album except the second track of the album, titled "The Locomotion," which I'm crediting for its writing of Gary Goffin and Carole King. And the content already overall says its depiction that's fairly for everyone listening to it. It's appropriate. Dicing out of chronology to Kylie's position of admiringly picturing reality and the perception of one that'll go fantasizing a look she wants to be with as this couple that could be in existence. Shuffling that new dance maneuver to the floor to collect letters and photographs to remain as he's in the flesh. So Kylie keeps that kind of spiritually, in hearing her voice and her lyrics, which I like. That stand out perfectly. And then from that point of view, from those three tracks that I just mentioned on its points, now from the rest of its track list, I would say that what it defined, it seemed pretty unexplainable of how her jolly spots and her relationship issues doesn't drop but chopped most of the reasons why why that happens, or what was the next move here, like how did those issues come around and start to dissolve without knowing what happened. So that was pretty much an issue with me that I had lyrically to its story, and it's pretty much like dry drama by understanding this story of Kylie by Stock, Aitken, and Waterman. Lyrics at most, and this is at most, I repeat, at most. Yeah, and so writing wise, my report is done here from speaking Stock, Aitken, and Waterman's lyrics. But to mention about the production again, it did help me to find about Synth Pop, which was a big upgrade to my standpoint of me knowing a subgenre of pop now with Synth Pop, and especially since that time around in the 80s, it got big, really big. And so all that with 80s and 90s, they began to progressively change a lot with all the new technology such that weren't as advanced as the 70s went, and then the 60s. So 80s was, so whenever I hear 80s, sometimes there's times where it's so flashy and all, very, very happy, very there's all stars, and there's all these like magical places, magical world. You're sensing that you're in the middle of no dead end. It's just all happy endings and such. Very positive characteristics, and that's how I hear most of the time with pop in the 80s. And this from Kylie, this does show its characteristics, its positive characteristics, and some sad ones, but it doesn't really that. But that sad characteristic doesn't really pushes all of the happy characteristics down, the positive. And so by seeing that, again with this production, I'm guessing that now, like just thinking about this, the production and its instrumentals beats all the way from the lyrics. It's at the top of the mountain, and it's better right now than the lyrics. But and especially like just thinking about Kylie's voice, like her voice automatically lights up the room, lights up the building, and propose also like a crying, the crying and disappointment tone of hers that pushes her concern of at a standard pace. It doesn't abrupt again, like against the positive characteristics. So she does stands down her emotional side at during the album. And and look, like, understanding that it's her first project, and it may grow if Stock, Educated, and Waterman should step down in the next project with stepping down the writing and just still do their production, because that's the most of what they stand out. That's the best moment of them. It's their production, because their production is lighting on fire. Not even comparing to see the excellence of the music and the writing. Like, the music itself just beats the living crap out of its story. It might make a difference, if lyrically the explanations weren't the problem here of this debut album. And I'm not asking to be more intellect on words placed but the story's own solution, by again clarifying these spots of how it led up to abrupt me and make me question myself. What's going on, or what's like, I'm still having questions and feeling a little bit empty when hearing the full story of Kylie. Excited for the second album, which I will also be reviewing, but I'm guessing that it will not be on the second episode of Lux. Small Lux Scrutiny presenting the Musiq Psych review, Musiq Psychic review. But I think there's to it. That's my full report on Kylie. I like the album. I give it a like. And have it added to my list of albums that I like, because most of it's production than its lyrics. So I think that's it. I don't know. I don't even know what's the next review for the next LP or the next whatever project, EP, mixtape, compilation, whatever. I hope I get to find a project, another project that might drift away from this synth pop in the 80s. Might have to jump onto another album from another decade or so. Who knows? I think that's it, and hope you guys like this review, and hopefully I get to share another album of my opinion, or share whatever project. That'll be maybe next week, or hopefully in the next few weeks, maybe a month. I don't know how it'll go. But see you guys later. I'm out. Logs out to relaxation. Goodbye.